Hello everyone, and welcome to Yoshi 1 Kenobi's Lorehold Retriever Phoenix deck. In this deck, we play the Phoenix that comes to us from Strixhaven, and it's a 4-mana 2/2 Flying Haste creature, and whenever it enters the battlefield, if you cast it, you learn. But as most Phoenixes, it has a way to come back from the graveyard for free. And for Retriever Phoenix, you can do that if you would learn. You may instead return a Retriever Phoenix to the battlefield. Now, this doesn't stack as well as, say, the Arclight Phoenix, because one learn trigger will not allow you to bring back multiple Phoenixes. It's one trigger per Phoenix. When I looked at the card, I thought, you only get a Revive 1. It's a 4-drop, which is very expensive for a 2/2 Flying Haste. I don't like this very much. And then I started playing it, and I realized that if you have Retriever Phoenix in the graveyard, Professor of Symbology becomes a 2/1. And a 2/2 Flying Haste for 2 mana. Guiding Voice becomes put a +1/+1 on target creature and get a 2/2 Flying Haste. That's 1 mana for 2/2 Flying Haste and a +1/+1 counter, which is just ridiculous value. So the trick is to get Retriever Phoenix in the graveyard, so we need to invest into a bunch of different cards to put it in the graveyard. No, we don't, because it's already pre-built into Learn. As part of Learn mechanic, you may put a lesson from your sideboard to your hand, or you may discard a card to draw a card. So if we just play a critical amount of Learn cards, we have the tools to put Retriever Phoenix in the graveyard and revive it. Also, there's a neat trick where Seasoned Hallowblade is perfect for that. It's a 3/1, so it's an aggressive creature that allows you to simply put the Retriever Phoenix in your graveyard for free on turn 2. And then you can have ridiculous curve like Usher of the Fallen, Seasoned Hallowblade, throw the Phoenix, turn 3 Sparring Regimen, revive the Phoenix, and you're attacking with a 3/3 Flying Vigilance Haste, a 3/1 and a 2/1. And the pain continues for your opponent from there. Let's say ideally a Brele the Historian on turn 4 to just end the game by giving all your creatures double strike. So because it's a cheap flyer with haste, and we get to kind of cheat it out with low mana cost, we want a fairly low to the ground aggressive deck. Which is why we're sticking to Lorehold colors. Also, there's enough Learn in those colors to make this work. Selfless Savior allows us to protect our creatures. Usher of the Fallen is the most aggressive 1-drop we could find. Professor of Symbology, one of the best value that has Learn, being a 2/1 that also brings back the Phoenix, or gets us access to one of our sideboard cards. Seasoned Hallowblade, another aggressive 2-drop that synergizes with the Phoenix. And then the Learn cards. So Guiding Voice, Professor of Symbology, Sparring Regimen, and Igneous Inspiration. Guiding Voice and Professor because they're really cheap. Igneous Inspiration because it's a nice burn spell and we needed removal, which is also why we're playing Bonecrusher Giant. Also, it's one of the best cards in the format. It's in our colors, we should play it. Sparring Regimen. I really wanted to make a deck around this card, and Phoenix goes really well. Because normally the downside of Sparring Regimen is you don't improve your board when you're playing it. It's a win more type of cards, where if you already have a bunch of creatures with pressure, then you get an incremental advantage. But with Phoenix, you actually get to play it as a 3/3 Flying Haste Vigilance, plus you get the bonuses of the enchantment in the long run. So I'm very happy with the performance of this card in the deck, and it's probably the best card to play to revive the Phoenix, outside of a turn 2 Phoenix with Professor of Symbology. Which you can't really do, it's typically more a turn 3 Phoenix with the Professor. Then we have Blade of Historian, which is a great finisher, 4 mana in our colors, and don't forget you can always hardcast Retriever Phoenix, you get a free Learn from it, so it's not that bad. In terms of mana base, we get to play 4 copies of Hall of Oracles, which allows us to put +1/+1 counters on our creatures when we cast cheap instants or sorceries, like Guiding Voice, which suddenly turns into 2 +1/+1 counters for 2 mana, a Plains and the Hall of Oracles. You also get to use your sideboard cards. All of the lessons are moderately cheap, and they're all instants and sorceries in those that we're playing, which means that you can always tick Hall of Oracles off of these lessons, which means that Igneous Inspiration, Guiding Voice are actually two triggers of instants and sorceries when it comes to Hall of Oracles, so you can space them over multiple turns and keep the +1/+1 counters rolling without jeopardizing our mana base, which is already fairly well balanced for a 2-color deck. And that's it for Retriever Phoenix, sticking to Lorehold colors in an aggressive shell on MTG Arena Standard. Now let's see just how explosive this gets with some standard games coming right up. We are playing Retriever Phoenix on MTG Arena Standard against Longling. Alright, we have Phoenix, a Hallowblade, and a bunch of learned cards. That's good. Opponent's playing Yorion on the play. That's not as good. And we can't always be on play. Or play fair decks. Opponent foretells an Alrun's Epiphany as we go Hallowblade. And pass the turn back. Ooh, opponent plays right into our hand, casting Eliminate at a bad time. I was going to discard that anyways. So I will very happily let you have that. Play the Professor of Symbology to revive Phoenix to the battlefield, using the Guiding Voice, putting a counter on the Phoenix. We're short on creatures, so let's put this Spirit Summoning and hit you for 6. Passing the turn back. That's not bad. Turn 3 we have a pair of 2-drops and a 4-drop on the battlefield. Opponent solves the equation. Shadow's Verdict's not gonna hit the Phoenix. I'm pretty sure this is... oh, this is very over. This is a turn 4 kill, my friend. Thank you, Mr. Retriever Phoenix and Blade Historian, making Strixhaven Lorehold shine. And taking down Yorion always feels great. We are playing Retriever Phoenix on MTG Arena Standard against Amish Psych 47. You go first. We don't have the lands we want, but we have the colors we want. We have a fine curve, so we will keep it. Opponent's on mana left. Alright. That's what you're playing, then we will bone crush you. And pass turn back. Opponent plays a Venerable Knight. Oh, so it's really white weenies. No holding back in any way here. Let's play Professor. Symbols are always nice. I want more creatures. Yeah, Professors of Symbology seem pretty good in this matchup. Selfless Savior to protect the Venerable Knight. Another code spell Cleric to increase the size of the Venerable Knight. On swings, we will trade with the code spell Cleric. Can't allow our opponent to go wide with this kind of strategy. Now we can go 3-drop, 1-drop. So let's try to Spirit something. And Usher of the Fallen. Really just matching our opponent's creatures until our bigger payoffs, or just the fact that we're learning, will come into play. Opponent should take out the Igneous Inspiration here, although the Blade Historian is going to be a problem. Still think the Igneous Inspiration is more troublesome. I'll take the free block for now. Opponent Defiant Strikes. Block wasn't free after all. But we do still trade. Alright, and now Now what do we do? I think we're going to Igneous Inspiration. We're not going to be blocking with the Usher of the Fallen, so might as well attack with that. Although we can activate the ability to keep the Selfless Savior at bay and use the Professor of Symbology. I like this line. It's mana efficient. Might need to reduce the memory. Although just trading one of these creatures for another one's not the best. Maybe what we need is expanded anatomy. Just go over the top. Opponent swings only with a flyer. Okay, brings in the Venerable Knight. We will double block the Venerable Knight. Opponent will sack the Selfless Savior. Or not. Opponent fancies that Elite Spellbinder quite a bit. Castle Arvindale. Problematic permanent. Blade Historian helps to mitigate that. For now, we're going to use the Inspiration, take down the Selfless Savior. I'll pick up an Environmental Sciences. Because it's cheap, it gains life, and it gives us 5th land. Which we kind of need. I'm really on the back foot here, so I'm going to keep the Usher of the Fallen defensively to block the 1/1. We'll take 3 from the Spellbinder. Another Hall of Oracles, which will make this all the sweeter. Red, red, white. Igneous Inspiration killing that Spellbinder. D4 kills us, taking reduced to memory. And it's time to show you what a real Usher of the Fallen looks like. Now a 5/4. Opponent would swing for 2 on the backswing. That's okay. 5 points of damage are worth it. We've dealt with the big threat, and the opponent's not going to flash in anything too dangerous. Also need to be careful about all the Skyclaves coming down, raining havoc on us. Clarion's a bit of a problem. You can probably go all out on that Usher of the Fallen now. So we could Blade Historian, but the opponent would just block with Castle Arvindale. So we need more threats. And I think that starts with Environmental Sciences gaining us 2 life. Fetch a white source. Play a Sparring Regimen. We get to learn. Can pick up an Introduction to Annihilation in case our opponent presents something more problematic. Make the Usher of the Fallen bigger, and present a very menacing threat. Hopefully forcing our opponent to chump block. Or not, opponent living life on the edge. Well, we are at 6, and the opponent has a ton of blockers. But our next order of business is going to be swarming with the battlefield. Definitely blocking Clarion there. I was hoping that we don't have any creatures, but we do. Also, you have to block the Usher of the Fallen next turn. So we might as well begin with the attack. You have to jump in. I'm not playing Embercleave, so there's no threat of double striking. Let's try with that tempo. Guiding Voice isn't really helpful here. So we'll send that back. Oh, we can only play one more spell. Might as well play a super expensive Blade Historian. Heraldic Banner brings us to our knees, but if the opponent strikes, then we'll force our opponent to double jump. As long as there's no removal spell, we're good. Elite Spellbinder. We'll take out Reduce to Memory, I guess? Although we do have the backup spell with Introduction to Annihilation. So it depends on whether the opponent wants the creature or the card. It's a good question. I'm not sure which one's better. Probably take the Reduce to Memory, because I get a double spell if you go this route. Phoenix. Phoenix is nice. Phoenix forces a Spellbinder to die. I think I go Phoenix. Pick up a Reduce to Memory. This forces a Spellbinder to block it. And then we can either play another blocker or reduce the memory to banner. I think we want the extra blocker, because now we're the ones with the flying threat. So either the opponent top decks a Maul of the Skyclave or the opponent's dead on board. And the opponent's dead on board. We made the right call and took down White Weenies using Lorehold Retriever Phoenix. We're playing Retriever Phoenix on MTG Arena Standard against Weeboo the Whale. Opponent goes first. We're missing white mana, unfortunately. But that gives us plenty of time to draw it. Worst case scenario, we'll use our Igneous Inspiration if we draw land eventually to go and find that white source. Can always use the Hall of Oracles now. Let's play the Hall. And pass the turn back. Hopefully the opponent will flash in... not that. The 1/1. Soaring Thought Thief, I cannot burn. Needed Thieves Guild Enforcer. Opponent tries to deceive us. Sends a card to the bottom. Hits us. We will take the damage. And burn a Wind Robber. Alright, and we have a white source. We are in business. Play this for white. Kill the Soaring Thought Thief. And discard the Phoenix. And pass the turn back. So I have one Phoenix in the graveyard. We're milled to 5. Which means their opponent cannot draw 15 cards. Alright. Here we want to cast a Sparring Regimen. But it's almost certain that our opponent has a counter for it. Gonna attempt it anyways. Ooh, opponent lets us resolve the Sparring Regimen. We will take the Phoenix, thank you. Move to combat. Opponent kills the Phoenix before it gets a counter. A wise decision, my friend. Maybe I should have Guiding Voice the Merfolk Wind Robber. Get the Phoenix back. The counter's just so nice on Hallowblade. Alright, Professor of Symbology. Now let's go Hallowblade. Hallowblade. Guiding Voice the Hallowblade. Do you counter my 1 mana sorcery? Yes, you do. Alright, well, we'll put a +1/+1 counter on our Hallowblade then. Whatever is most troublesome for you. Fortunately, this requires us to attack to put a +1/+1 counters on the creatures, as opposed to the Luminarch Aspirant. Null Mage Domination. I wasn't expecting that. Alright, one swings for 1. Mills us. Now I'll have to go with the Tree Creatures play. Professor of Symbology. Bring back the Phoenix. Move to combat. Hit you with the Phoenix. Take it up with the Regimen. And play the Bonecrusher Giant. 3 creatures for 4 mana. That's what I call efficient. 17 is 16. One's still on 4 mana. Baleful Mastery exiles our Phoenix. One playing full cost for it. And mills another Phoenix. Oh, that is good for us. That is real good. Let's play the Igneous Inspiration. Killing the Hallowblade, or forcing the discard and the tap of the Hallowblade. Opponent lets it go. Well, then we'll use the Hall of Oracles, put a +1/+1 counter on our Phoenix. Attack with everything, put another +1/+1 counter on the Phoenix. And that's 10 damage, my friend. They want to go for Professor. Expanded Anatomy could be pretty good. No, I'll leave it. Retrieving our Phoenix is quite important. Into the story, opponent draws. Do you have another Wind Robber? You do. Actually, you don't have anything that gives trample. So we'll have to attack with everything and put a counter on the Professor of Symbology. Make sure that it doesn't get just blocked to death by a Wind Robber. And also make sure that any 2 creatures connecting makes a lethal threat. Well, if that's the way you're going to play it. You will play the Professor of Symbology, get a Spirit Summoning, cast our Spirit, and put a counter on the Professor of Symbology. Can you deal with 5 creatures? No, you cannot. Thank you, Rogues, that was fun. Thanks for feeding me a Phoenix. As Retriever Phoenix retrieves another point from the ladder. We are playing Retriever Phoenix on MTG Arena Standard against Gerambo. Or Rambo Kai. Alright, we'll keep this. If only we had a Phoenix, the hand would be perfect. That's your cue, deck, to feed us a Phoenix. Put it on mono red. We'll open up with a Hallowblade. Pass the turn back, as our opponent will shock our Hallowblade. Frostbite it. Or just pass the turn back. Who is it? I think Hallowblade's problematic for his it. Let's play our Hall of Oracles. When Frostbites, we will shield our creature from the Frostbite. And pass the turn back. Opponent is very expressive, looking up the cards on the top of their library, hoping to find a land for free, and draw a good card. Opponent finds it, and passes the turn back. Alright, we'll play the Fury cards, revealing our mountain. And we might as well do this. Igneous Inspiration, burn you. Get another creature, put a counter on our Hallowblade, and swing it to you for 4. On top of the 3 points of burn, bring you down to 13. Who says we need a Phoenix? Hallowblade, Hall of Oracles, and burn spells will do just fine. Opponent cast the Temple of Epiphany. Passes the turn back. Alright. You will use the Spirit Summoning. Put another counter on the Hallowblade. Move to combat. Sacrifice our mountain to protect the Hallowblade. Oh, Brazen Borer! Wasn't expecting that one. But then again, when the opponent has to target the Hallowblade and not the token, you know you're doing something right. Or the opponent's doing something wrong. One of the two. Alright, well, I'll go to combat. Opponent had a backup Brazen Borer. Do we want to kill our creature? No, we do not. That is fine. We'll play another Seasoned Hallowblade. Opponent will counter. Saw it coming. Mythical Dispute. Okay. Well, Professor of Symbology. You are tapped out, and that is a symbol of weakness. Let's take an Expended Anatomy. And pass the turn back. Retriever Phoenix. That would have been going better a little earlier. For now, we'll attack with a Professor. Let's play the Selfless Savior. One's holding up all the counter magic. So I guess I have enough mana to just cast the Phoenix. Yeah, Brazen Borer is fine. If you're gonna tap low, then I'm gonna stomp it. Fortunately, this is during end step, which means that I can't use the +1/+1 counter ability off of the Hall of Oracles, because it's only sorcery speed trick. Otherwise, it'd be way too good. It could have been one of those during your turn, but that's not the case. Again, still would be pretty good as combat trick land. Opponent's on 3 cards in hand, plenty of mana available. And Brazen Borrower in exile. Opponent's looking at our creatures and thinking, do I really want to spend spells to kill these things? You're gonna have to, because you're at 11. And eventually my little pokers here are going to take you down. Also, we do have 3 points of burn in hand. Magma Opus. 4 damage, tap 2 permanents. Create a 4/4. Protect the Professor. So really that kills off the Selfless Savior. Draws 2 cards. Makes a 4/4. Okay. It's a fair bit of value. Well, time to cast the Phoenix. Stick a removal spell. Hit you for 2 in the air. Pass the turn again. Yeah, that's a powerful card. Pretty much an ultimatum. The Magma Ultimatum. When Frostbites are Professor of Symbology. Takes another turn, swings for 4. Here comes the attack for 6. As well as Daddy Dragon Galazet Prismari. Now our opponent has a lethal attack force. You can give Vigilance to Retriever Phoenix. Then play Bonecrusher Giant. That seems fine. Yeah, Vigilance to the Phoenix. As well as 2 counters. Get to attack. Opponent had another Brazen Borrower. And you get the flash into 1, so I guess we're dead. Put the Bonecrusher Giant in case the opponent forgets. Which seems unlikely. 6/8 in the air. And that'll be all. The Magma Opus was just a little too much. We needed to keep our Seasoned Hallowblade. Powering true. We are playing Retriever Phoenix on MTG Arena Standard. And the Lorehold canvas. Getting ready to destroy our opponent, Eat Me Ra W. Alright, this is bad. We're gonna keep it, because we have a Temple of Triumph and we're on play. Don't really want a mulligan. Opponent does want a mulligan though. So they go down to 6. Let's see what we can find. Temple. Another Temple of Triumph. That's not what we're looking for, so I'll send it down to the bottom of our library. Opponent's on mono red. Opens up with Fireblade Charter, as we will be forced to open up with absolutely nothing. Pass the turn back. Dragonkin Berserker, okay. Well, we'll use our Igneous Inspiration to get rid of that Berserker. And get a Spirit Summoning. Because we are in dire need of creatures. Opponent plays Anax. Anax, the problematic card. I find Netherland. Play it. Bonecrusher Giant. Not exactly what we're looking for. No, I'll send that back. I would rather draw a land. Play Spirit Summoning. A very overcosted 3-2. Well, actually just overcosted by 1. I'd pay 2 for a 3-2. Opponent plays the Robber of the Rich. Swings. Gets a Guiding Voice. Your opponent will get a play. That is unfortunate. 4, 6, 7, 8. Opponent can't kill us next turn. Okay, plays a Dragonkin Berserker. Five, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're still alive on board. Can play Usher the Fallen, Professor of Symbology, play Guiding Voice. Let's open up with the Professor of Symbology. And let's discard a Guiding Voice to draw a card. Hall of Oracles, okay. Can play that. Play the Usher the Fallen. Guider 3-2. Pick up. Reduced memory. And put an extra +1/+1 counter on our attacker. Hit you for 5. Problem is the opponent can attack with everything and then activate Dragonkin Berserker. Or worse, Embercleave us. Okay, opponent wants to keep some blockers. That's fair. Opponent decides not to keep blockers. Throws one of our lands to the bottom of our library. Embercleave? Seems like you have a trick. Or at least the Dragonkin Berserker activation. Chauncey's probably good enough to kill us. Which is too bad, because Blade Historian is a strong play here. As long as the opponent blocks, they will win. But I'll make the symbolic attack nonetheless. Get you down to 1 and concede. Almost, but that dragon got in our way. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe. It won't cost you any mana, and it greatly helps to support this channel and keep the awesome videos coming. Until next time, may the fun be with you.